Okay, so here is our core activity. Before we start that, I kind of wanted to explain a little bit because I'm going to be talking about independent and dependent variables. Now, when I was in algebra, this always confused me. It took me a long time to learn it. So I'm going to try to save you guys the punishment I endure just to learn this. So if we have a function here, this is our process. Okay, this is process. This is basically our function rule. Okay, so if we put something in, we call that an input. Okay, when we put something in, it'll go through this process and out will come a output. Okay, so we put something in, the machine does its process, it does its work, it does the function rule, and then something comes out. Okay, I'm going to change this here. And so another word for input or our variable, we normally call this x. Okay, and if that is x, then this would be y. Okay, and another, I think I like the drawing better, so I'm going to go back to here. So this is when you put something in, you have the process, it comes out. You put in an x, it does the process, a y comes out. Now up here is also the independent variable. So if this is independent, you put it in the process, into the function rule. If you put in an independent variable, what would be the opposite of independent? Well, that would be dependent. I'm just going to put var for variable. Dependent variable. Okay, so what do you notice about these two words here? If you look at this word here, look at this one, what do they have that's the same? Okay, they both start with in. Okay, I always had a hard time thinking about, okay, well, what's the dependent variable? Is that what you put in or is that what comes out? And I finally made the association here that input and independent go together, okay, because they both have in. Independent is what you put in. Pretty simple, right? Okay. You put in an independent variable, it does the process, and a dependent variable comes out. Okay, another way I like to look at this is that this also is the action that you do. And down here, this would be the result. Okay, so if you study hard, the result will be you get a good grade, right? If you don't study very hard, then you're not going to get a very good grade. Okay. If you work a lot of hours, you're going to get paid more. If you don't work hardly at all, then you're not going to get very much money. That's the action, the result. Okay. The result always depends on the action. So again, the result depends on the action or the independent variable, the input. Okay, I hope that clears up some confusion. I think we'll be able to answer the next couple of questions somewhat easier. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so this is on page 229, and this goes with, I'm going to go ahead and read this. Let's return to the vending machine example. The type of drink you purchase depends on the button you press. So you would say that the set of buttons A, B, C, D, E, and F is a set of possible values of the independent variable. And an independent variable is in a function rule determines what happens to another variable in the rule. Okay, so they said that A, B, C, D, E, and F are independent variables. That's the number that's the button, the letter you will press. Okay, if you press an A, this is going to be your result, an orange juice. If you press F, your result, the dependent variable, will be water. Okay, so the different beverage types, orange juice, apple juice, skim milk, chocolate milk, and water, form the sets of possible values of the dependent variable. Remember that a variable is some quantity that changes, or it can be the letter that represents the changing quantity. A function exists when two variables have a dependent relationship. Changes in the independent variable cause changes in the dependent variable in a systematic way. So let's go ahead and answer these questions. These questions should be in your book. It says here, fill in the blanks, complete the statements in questions 1 through 3. The type of drink you purchase depends on the button that you push. So you would say that the buttons A, B, C, D, and E, and F are possible values for the, what do you guys think? Independent or dependent? This is what you put in, and then the drink is what will come out. Okay, so this will be the independent variable. I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Okay, a blank in a function rule determines what happens to another variable. Okay, and again, we're just going to type in independent variable. And we'll move on to number 2 here. It says the different types of drinks, orange juice, apple juice, skim milk, chocolate milk, and water form the set of possible values of the, well, this one here is independent, and these here are the results of the independent. So we're going to say that this is dependent. Okay, a blank in a function rule changes when a value of the independent variable is changed. So we have independent variable here, and which variable is going to change when this changes? Well, the dependent. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem here. It says a pot of water is placed on a stove to heat. The water begins with a temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. As the water heats, the temperature of the water rises 20 degrees Fahrenheit every 30 seconds. So what are the variables in this situation? Let's see. So I'm looking at, let's see. The water begins with a temperature of 70 degrees. So I'm looking at this one. As the water heats, the temperature of the water rises 20 degrees Fahrenheit every 30 seconds. I'm taking temperature. Water rises 20 degrees Fahrenheit every 30 seconds. I'm looking at 30 seconds here. Okay, so what are the variables in this situation? I'm going to say, let's see, temperature, and let's see, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. So degrees Fahrenheit, that is temperature. I'm going to go ahead and type in temperature. And it rises 20 degrees Fahrenheit. We already have temperature here every 30 seconds. Seconds is a time. So how do I say this? Is a unit of time. Okay. So I have temperature, and then seconds is a unit of time. So I'm just going to write time. All right, letter B. Which variable is the dependent variable? Which is the independent variable? Provide a convincing explanation. Okay, so which one of these depends on what? I'm thinking here that the temperature is going to depend, okay? The temperature is going to depend on the time, okay? Because as time goes by, the temperature gets hotter. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in, or actually they want to know, let's see. Okay, so the dependent variable is temperature because it depends on time. So that would mean that my independent variable is time. And we talked about this a little bit, that time is typically independent. Okay, so over here it says create an input-output table and a graph for this situation. Add data to the table that makes sense for this situation. And we will continue this on the next video, okay? So on the next video, we will continue from letter C. So go ahead and watch the next video.